So, the finale of Raised by Wolves, the beginning, it wasn't the spectacular finale I was necessarily looking forward to. It didn't have massive, game changing revelations or reveals that one might have hoped for. But overall, there was a lot of interesting stuff here, and I could see myself coming back for another season. I could also see myself lacking interest. It'll just depend on what the trailer looks like, honestly. I think one of the biggest things that people are going to be talking about after this episode is the appearance of the alien creature from the planet that looks like a shriveled version of the engineer from Prometheus. And I read an interview with the creator of this show in Newsweek where he basically confirmed that this is not in the same timeline as the Alien franchise or the Blade Runner franchise. But he said because it's Ridley Scott and because Ridley Scott has a similar visual vocabulary that he brings to every project, you're gonna see some similarities. And I suppose I can buy that, but what he's really not saying, even though he's coming very, very close to saying it, is that Ridley Scott is pilfering his own films for the visuals here. So it's not a surprise that even though Ridley Scott did not direct this episode, his inspiration has caused them to come up with an alien creature that looks suspiciously like aliens that we've seen in the Alien franchise. And obviously, they probably don't own the rights to those creatures to bring them into play here, but they might have if they could have. Now, mother and father surviving going through the planet's core, that was ridiculous. And I really thought that they were dead, mainly because they should have been dead. And obviously, this snake creature that mother gave birth to, there have been hints about this snake creature that it has previously gone extinct. You've seen this throughout the series with the large snake skeletons. Some people have said that they look too dissimilar to be the same species, but I assume that this species has evolved in part because it was brought into this world through Mother, who's an android, so it's going to look different than the species of this type that previously existed. But it seems pretty clear to me that at one point there was a war between the humanoid-looking aliens and this snake creature, and that was why the humanoid-looking alien tried to kill Mother when it realized she was pregnant with this creature and was about to bring it back into existence. And clearly this creature seems to be able to dig through to the core of the planet and survive. It was the one that apparently caused the ship to pass through the planet's core and to come out on the other side in the tropical zone of the planet, which apparently whatever being is posing as Saul has been trying to keep mother and father away from all this time. I tend to suspect it's because this is where the humanoid creatures live and it doesn't want them to be found by them. So clearly, this is a metaphor for the Garden of Eden because you have mother, you have father, and you have a snake creature. So obviously, I get that, and that's probably the primary logistical reason for the snake creature. But I do have to say this. The snake creature is not scary. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, a flying snake creature that grows to massive proportions way, 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 way too quickly. I feel like they short-circuited some storytelling there, and I just don't think it really is that interesting or poses that much of a threat. And I get, like I said, the how it plays into the religious themes of this story, but overall, I just didn't love this decision. I thought it came off as rather cheesy. Mother and father's relationship this episode went through a lot of different twists and turns. Obviously, we see that father is starting to experience human jealousy for mother when he realizes that she had sex to create this creature, or she thinks she did. Obviously, it's unclear kind of what happened. It's interesting how this creature, whatever it is, whatever being this is on the planet, that clearly is not really soul, but it is what has inspired this Mithraic religion, I think it seems pretty obvious that it appears to individuals such as Mother and Marcus and Paul in whatever form of deity they worship. So to Mother, it appeared as her human creator. To Marcus and Paul, it appeared as Sol. And clearly, I think that the humanoid aliens on this planet created the androids. They created the necromancer and father because, as we've seen already, the Mithraic cult was given the designs. They didn't create them themselves, and it seems as though they came from here. And the birth scene, I think clearly whatever creature this is, it's tricked Mother into giving birth to this species once more that seems to have been eradicated at some point in the past, possibly in a war with the humanoid aliens on this planet. My favorite part this episode was the scenes between father and mother. And if they ever kill any characters off on this show, I really, really hope it isn't father. And I really, really would prefer mother to stick around too. I think that these two together have probably the most interesting dynamic in the show. And this episode, there was elements of it that were played for humor as they kind of go through some funny interactions. Mother not really understanding why her having had sex to create this child would make the father jealous. The father having these tragic moments where he considers erasing his memory so that he won't love Mother anymore because it's keeping him from completing his mission, and he believes if he comes back he won't love her anymore because she's changed so much. That was very, very touching. And the moment where they were going into the planet's core and the memories of their family unit before the Ark showed up, those were very, very touching moments. I felt like it was built up in the script and that we had this idea from father already that he was going to erase those memories, which have kind of come to shape his personality. And I think that, we've seen these two grow a lot as characters, even though they aren't exactly human. I think this show does a better job than, say, Westworld of kind of giving the android characters human experiences and showing them grow as humans. And this moment was good. I wish that I'm glad they didn't die, but I wish that they could have found a way to cheat death that didn't reek of laziness. Marcus and Paul were both tricked this episode. We saw Marcus having a vision. This was like the first vision, I think, that was clearly a fake vision because he saw Hunter, his arm turning into a snake and then attacking him. And again, he's had a lot of visions, but this was the first one where we know that this Hunter is not actually there and that what he's seeing is not actually happening. And these scenes were more clearly visions because they used that hazy focus for a lot of these scenes. And Paul, of course, was tricked into, well, not necessarily tricked. Sol actually revealed the truth to him, which is interesting that Sol knows, the being posing as Sol knows this, that the mother is not actually his mother, that it's, a woman who used to be an atheist posing as his mother. And Paul shoots her. I thought she was going to actually die because they've really taken a lot of time to have Mary/Sue built up as a character, and I felt like they hadn't really given her a lot of agency. It seemed like they were just developing her to make her part of the story more emotional. Paul getting tricked here, it makes sense. They're trying to show how religion can influence people. My problem with this, and I've kind of hinted at this before, I feel like whatever you believe, you don't just flip on a dime like this. You don't just have one vision and assume that, oh my goodness, everything I believed is false, as Marcus did. And obviously Paul believes in Sol, but I feel that it would take an awful lot to get most people to shoot the person that they've come to view as their mother. And for him to do this so quickly based on a couple visions seems a bit far-fetched to me personally. Also, the atheists are coming. The atheists are coming. Now we have a very, very large atheist craft arriving. And while this might have been good news in the past, now that Marcus has become a fanatic, he is warning them away and telling them that he's the king of this planet. So clearly, this is a plot line where we're going to get more of an idea, what the conflicts between the atheists and the Mithraic cult looked like. We're going to see Marcus potentially taking on this entire group of individuals. It seems like going forward that Campion is going to lead the group, at least for a time. And this feels more like something that's happening because the plot demands that it happen rather than something that would happen organically. Because to me, you have Hunter looking at Campion expectantly, like, you're going to lead us, right? And the whole group kind of looking at him that way as he's looking down in the pit like, oh, mother and father are gone. I guess it's up to me now. And I just feel like he's young enough that Hunter would never follow him. Hunter would try to lead the group. And it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out next season. And that's one of the reasons I might come back. There's a lot of things that seem like they could be interesting to be teased out. Although the pace of development so far, I feel like I wish it was a little bit faster and I wish they would explore more concepts. But there are a few things that they're going to delve into next season that are interesting to me. The creator has said that this is a story about the rebirth of civilization. So he sees this, happening over 5 to 6 seasons. I'm not sure if the show will last that long without getting canceled, but it seems like people like it so far because it got renewed for a second season very, very quickly compared to a lot of shows. So those are just my thoughts, as I said. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you give me a like, I'd appreciate it. And as always, you can watch more videos right now.